Hey guys, Andrew Winnett with Retirement Renegade here. In this video, we're gonna talk about the coming Great Depression. Now, if you didn't see part one, where we talk about inflation and rates, you're gonna wanna check out that video because that leads into the Great Depression. You can watch that video in the link below in the description. Now, we have a little bit of time before this Great Depression is gonna hit. There's lots of reasons why. I'm gonna give you the top 5 biggest reasons why the Great Depression is coming. But before I do, I want to talk about what we anticipate happening in the stock market between now and when the Great Depression hits. We believe that in 2025, for various reasons, with tariffs, Trump getting his footing, him causing a lot of ruckus and frankly getting things passed and printing money, we think the stock market is going to be sideways. It will start to go up in the latter part of the year. This is not just my opinion. A lot of macroeconomic investors, also PhD experts, Nobel-winning economists, they all agree that we are going to see the stock market begin to go up later this year. We do believe, though, that sometime around 25 to 26, there could be a little bit of choppy waters in the beginning of the year, but in 26, 27, and 28, for the most part, the stock market is going to have an upward trajectory. The main reason why is because we're deficit spending. We're spending more than we bring in. And when you do this, this is stimulatory for the stock market. So even though rates are going up, inflation is going up, we're printing more and more money, which means the stock market will be propped up by that deficit spending. And we have one more bull market cycle in us as a country before the big one. However, in 29 or 30, that's where the next Great Depression starts. There's 5 reasons why. The first reason is our government debt. As of the filming of this video, we're punching $37 trillion in debt in the mouth. It's estimated with the big beautiful bill and how much we're going to be deficit spending that when Trump is done, we're going to be somewhere between 42 and 46 trillion dollars in debt as a country. With rates going up because inflation is going up and the Federal Reserve is trying to combat inflation, our interest expense is going to be about half of what we bring in revenue. This is 100% unsustainable. This doesn't leave any other room for other things like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, defense spending, our unfunded liabilities. We are going to be at a critical inflection point where we have so much debt, we cannot dig our way out of it. So number 1 is government debt. Number 2 is inflation. As I talked about in the previous video, we think that inflation is going to peak around 7% in 2032. That's a problem. And that's the CPI number. That's the manipulated number that doesn't factor in food, energy, mortgage, and rent, the CPI number. The third reason why we're going to be having a Great Depression is our rising healthcare costs. It's estimated by 2028, the average total healthcare cost is going to be $8 trillion. We only bring $5 trillion in per year in tax revenue. So healthcare is going to be a problem as the boomers are aging. Number 4 is unfunded liabilities. I cannot tell you how many people I've had in my office in the last couple months that are making 6 figures on government pensions, military pensions. They work for the FBI, they work for the CIA or whatever. They're making more money in retirement than they were when they were working. It's estimated when you factor in all of the Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security disability, government pensions, etc., our unfunded liabilities are between 150 and 200 trillion dollars. Who the heck is going to pay for this? And then 5th and finally, demographics. We have such a swelling elderly population, we don't have enough new taxpayers to cover the rising costs of what we call the silver-haired tsunami. And we're not the only country in this predicament. China has just as bad of a demographic problem as we do. Germany has just as bad of a demographic problem as we do. And there's that old saying, as Germany goes, so goes Europe. And then finally, Japan is the worst demographics in the entire world. Now, there are some countries that are going to do well. Their demographics are younger, and so they're going to actually weather this storm a lot better. Canada, Australia, India. and parts of Africa have a younger demographic. Those are going to be the big players in the coming decades. But we have an older population, and that's going to drag us down. So those 5 things are the reasons why we are going to be going through a 100-year cycle. It's funny because it's literally 100 years after the Great Depression of 1929. Did you know COVID came 100 years after the Spanish flu? Kind of interesting. When this happens, we anticipate that the S&P 500 is going to go down 44% over those 6 years. Now you may be saying, yeah, but Andrew, during the global financial crisis of 08, it went down that much. It actually went down a little bit more, and it wasn't that bad. It was just a recession, right? It wasn't a Great Depression. That is true. But here's where this is different. During the global financial crisis, when the market went down, it started coming back 18 months after it started going down. So it was recovering within 18 months. This is going to last 4 to 5 times longer. So the question then becomes, well, what companies can stay in business with that long of a downward trajectory? If rates are super high, who can stay solvent if they have debt? If banks are failing because their loans are going sideways, well, what kind of repossessions are going to happen? When you have a sustained or prolonged depression for 6 to 7 years, a lot more people are not going to be able to hang on and weather the storm. So what does this mean practically? There's 5 things that you can do. Number 1, try to get out of debt. This is one area I agree with Dave Ramsey. If you can have no debt, you are going to be that much better off. There's going to be a lot of people who have debt that are going to get really hurt because they're not going to be able to afford to make their payments. The cost of their debt's going to go up. Banks are going to fail, and the banks that buy the paper or the loans out, they may say, hey, we're calling your note. We need you to pay the entire balance in 30 days. How does that affect you? A lot of people won't be able to do that, and they're going to lose what they have. So be debt free. You've got some time, be debt free. Number 2, if you can have cash, you are going to be able to pick up assets at a discount. Having cash, the people who have a bunch of cash are going to be wildly successful as they go through this Great Depression because they're going to be able to buy things at a discount. Number 3, believe it or not, annuities. Annuities do better when rates are high. Rates are going to be very high during this time. And annuities, when you're dealing with A+ rated companies, don't fail. Not one A+ rated life and annuity company has failed since 1900. So annuities are a safe place to put your retirement savings, put your cash, earn some interest if the market's going up, or have a fixed rate of return and never go backwards if the market's crashing. The 4th thing you can do, don't fall back in your chair, but Bitcoin. Now you're not going to put all your money in Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is going to be a really good hedge against this Great Depression because number 1, it's deregulated. The government can't get its slimy fingers on it. Number 2, it's deflationary in nature, which means you're not going to print more money. There's only a certain amount of Bitcoins in circulation, and so the value has to go up as there's more and more widespread adoption. And then number 5, gold. Now you're not going to put all your money in Bitcoin, you're not going to put all your money in gold. It's hard to transact with the two of them, but having some of your money in those assets could be a good idea. Gold is not going to lose all of its value because it is scarce. It's going to retain a measure of value, and it's only going to go up as the dollar weakens. So gold can be a wonderful place to park money. I'll leave you with a story. Many of you guys may not know the story of Babe Ruth. He was the baseball guy that we all know, and we love those candy bars, the Babe Ruth candy bar. But his advisor came to him in 1927 or so and said, Babe, we see the writing on the wall. This has been a great roaring 20s, but we're going to have a market crash. And when we do, many people are going to get wiped out. I want you to take your money out of the stock market and I want you to put it into annuities because annuities are safe. They can participate when rates go up. And Babe was very hesitant. Babe's like, come on, dude, that's never going to happen. Well, his advisor was persistent. And thankfully, Babe listened to his advisor. And when the Great Depression happened and the New York Yankees were in soup and bread lines, lost everything in the stock market, Babe didn't lose one penny because he invested invested in annuities. And he was earning to the tune of $250,000 a year in today's dollars. The point is these A+ rated life and annuity companies have gone through World War I, World War II, the Great Depression, Korea, Vietnam, crash of '87, dot-com bubble, 9/11, the global financial crisis, COVID. They've gone through all of it and they're still standing. Why? They're required by state and federal regulators to keep surplus cash on hand over and above how much people have invested with them. So if there's ever a liquidity crisis or a solvency issue, they can pay everybody that they owe tomorrow and still have billions of dollars of cash left over. So not having debt, having cash, annuities, Bitcoin, and gold. These 5 takeaways are going to protect, preserve, and prosper folks who are going through this Great Depression. The ones who have no debt, have a bunch of cash, have annuities, gold, and Bitcoin, you watch. More millionaires and billionaires will be made during this time, and I guarantee you they're implementing those 5 strategies. If you would like to learn more about the 4 different cycles that countries and societies go through that talk a little bit more about the coming Great Depression, click on the link above and in the description, and you can learn more about what is coming from a different point of view, from a different perspective.